Good morning, everyone. Kris here with Inspired Energy, and joining me, my guest this morning, Kelly Wolf. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Kris. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, no worries. Thank you for coming. So, I'll just share a little bit about you. So, Kelly is a clairvoyant, and her goal is to educate her clients about the frequency based reality we live in, thereby empowering them to shift, heal, and enrich their lives through their own power. She works with the body's energetic system along with her knowledge of Eastern and alternative medicine so she can treat the body, the mind, and the soul. She has a bachelor's degree of science in physiology and exercise science from Arizona State University and a diploma from acupuncture and Chinese medicine program from Grant McEwen. She's a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, and acupuncturist, and psychic healer. She can read Akashic records. She's certified in acutonics, sound therapy practitioner, a Reiki master, and teacher. Um, that's a lot. You've been busy.
I
So,
know, and I never want to stop learning.
oh, awesome. So, Kelly, can you just maybe start up? We'll start with sound.
Okay.
So, what can you tell us about sound and your experience with it and what it does to the body?
Yeah. So, if you think about our reality or even what our physical body actually is, it is made of sound. We are bioelectric music, basically, is what we
Mhm.
are. And sound, I've had some incredibly profound um, healing with sound itself, whether
Mhm.
it's, a sound bath or tuning forks that I use. Um, if you think about, I my passion is planetary energies. I really love the planetary tuning forks
Mhm.
because we are connected to our planetary system. Our internal organs, they resonate the same as our planetary system as well.
Mhm.
And so there's a real familiarity when you put sound or tuning forks or use any kind of sound or specific frequencies with the body. And it's not just the physical body, right? We have our energetic layers as well that really drive us and drive our health as well.
Mhm. Amazing. I know that we here at Clarity love your sound baths. And just a testament to that, the next two coming up, you're doing a sound bath and light language with Jade, one of our practitioners here, and it's sold out. And then the one the following week on the 21st, I think there's only one or two tickets left for that. So that's just a testament to the work that you're doing and how people are coming to it and learning to embrace the therapy of sound and
Yeah,
what it does for them. So, yeah, thank
absolutely.
you for that. So, some of the other things that you do is acupuncture.
Mhm.
So, what does acupuncture entail and what kinds of benefits are there from it?
So acupuncture works on the energetic body, basically the chi or our life force. Um, also the bioelectric capacity as well. And via the meridians. Now the meridians run through all of the organs. They also correspond with our chakras as well, which are the energy centers of the body. So yeah,
Mhm.
my personal belief, just because I can see energy, is even in the energetic field, you have those meridians and those acupuncture points as well. Acupuncture points are
Mhm.
actually portals for solar energy to come in to help keep us alive, to keep our chi moving, to keep us going.
Mhm.
We have a real, the sun is our connection to source. So we have a real affinity with the sun.
Mhm.
Um, and whether the sun's shining or not, because I know today it's cloudy.
Well,
So,
well, there's some smoke out there, so there's
yeah,
some fires. Yeah.
yeah. So, but we still receive that solar energy coming into our
Mhm.
bodies. So, acupuncture is basically, think about it, it regulates the body, right?
Mhm.
So, think about it, we're constantly in homeostasis. And when our body has some sort of an issue and it can't balance, where it needs to be at that moment, right? Because
Mhm.
the body is constantly moving and changing, excuse me, based on our emotions or what's going on in our life. or even what's going on, of course, in our physical body. So acupuncture stimulates those meridians, wakes up those organs. You know, if there's some sort of a pathology where you have a lot of heat, you can clear that heat, calm that down. Or if there's some deficiency like fatigue, somebody has a lot of fatigue, you can tonify or strengthen those parts of the body that will help with fatigue.
Yeah. I know that because I'm one of your clients as well, which I think you're just absolutely magical. So you tend to layer the different modalities and things that you work with. What are the benefits of layering it to the body?
Well, my belief is, you know, there's not just, I mean, personally, of all the modalities I do, sound is my favorite. I think sound
Mhm.
is powerful. But is it the only thing that's going to get you through, you know, some sort of you know, a health crisis? Maybe not, right? Maybe not. It just depends on the person, and it depends on the condition. Um, so I like layering because I think, you know, if you think about it, right, when those acupuncture needles are in and I give that person a sound bath, they're like little, beautiful little antennas. Or when I have
Mhm.
an acupuncture needle in and I'm
Awesome.
working with the fork on that acupuncture point as well, it
Mhm.
just it is being enhanced even further. Uh,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So can you, I know you do other things. So we've had some conversations about things like paranormal experiences and things that, you know, you've done house clearings and things like that. So maybe just talk a little bit about house clearings and what it entails and what kinds of things people should look for to have an energy clearing in their house.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. So if you think, right, energy can never be created or destroyed, right? Just transmuted. So energy is everywhere. So
Mhm.
sometimes when I go into a house, quite often, you know, you see a lot of those videos on like YouTube with all those ghost hunters, and it's so
Yeah.
dramatic, and you know, it's definitely dramatized.
Yes.
There are, yes, there are ghosts, there are discarnate spirits. There are things, there are entities,
Mhm.
things do exist. But typically, most homes will have just the energy of what was there before.
Mhm.
Um, for example, I remember going into a house and I could feel the former family. I could
Mhm.
feel there was definitely abuse in this family, this former
Mhm.
family, unfortunately. There was a lot of anger. There was a lot of angst. There was a lot of pain. Each room, I could feel something different.
Mhm.
And it really just infused into the walls. It was a lot of pain in that family, unfortunately.
Mhm.
And so the family that moved in, right, it's going to be subtle, but they're going to feel this, right?
Mhm.
I mean, if you think about it, even, you know, nothing is truly solid. Everything is made of
Mhm.
energy. So those walls in that home that are just made of energy are going to soak in any emotions, especially the heavier emotions, right?
Yeah.
If it was happy emotion, I would just leave it alone.
Well, it's like, yeah, the thing is, like, if you're in tune, when you walk into certain rooms, like, you can feel that. Like, you can feel that something feels off or something feels really good and you like being there because we're all emitting energy and then it affects our environment, right? So, um, yeah, so if there's people out there that are feeling, I don't know, uncomfortable whenever they're going into a certain room in their house, you check it out. It could be that there's some residual energy there from, a previous incident. I do know that I lived in a house, and every time I went to go down these four stairs and it had a vaulted ceiling, I felt like really uncomfortable. And I didn't understand why. It was like I didn't want to cross that barrier, but you had to go down to the other rooms. And then I found out later that somebody had hung themselves in the house right at that point. So, I mean, that's before I started working with all of this stuff. So I didn't know about clearing it and things, but it's a really good thing to do so that you can live in that peace and harmonious energy, right?
Yes, and I use sound to
You use sound.
yeah, I use
Mhm.
specific tuning forks and prayers
Mhm.
to do the clearing. And of course, you need to also work with the homeowners or the
Mhm.
business owner, right? Because, remember, everything that shows up is a frequency match.
Mhm.
So obviously, there's some sort of frequency match happening as to why that's showing up in their reality. Um,
Right.
so I work with them to try and, if they change,
Yeah.
their outside world changes, right? So
Yeah.
within, yeah,
Yeah, this is something that you and I talk about quite a bit is, how we show up in the world attracts things into our experience, right? So if we're in fear, if we're like worried about things, then those kinds of things can start showing up for us. But if we're
yes,
full, right, and confident and, full of love and all of those things, then that's what we admit. And that negative stuff can't get a foothold, right?
right,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about what else you do? I know that you're like a Reiki master, so you also teach Reiki
hmm
and you
I
have courses and classes.
Yep, I do. I teach Reiki. I actually have a course coming up this Saturday. I get to attune a beautiful family, a mom and her two kids. I'm so
Oh,
excited.
fabulous. I love that kids are getting into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And I've met these kids. They're absolutely lovely. And yeah, so I love Reiki. So Reiki for me, I got attuned in 2010, and it was so unexpected.
Mhm.
I didn't expect to have such a, I don't really know how to describe it, but such a beautiful energetic opening. My
Mhm.
ability to see definitely increased after
Mhm.
the attunement. And, just understanding how, that we are these energy bodies, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah, and using, your intention to help guide that energy into the person who has to receive to get it, but
Mhm.
that person who's receiving it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I love Reiki. And it's interesting because of all the modalities I do, Reiki seems to be the one that people accept a lot more. Um,
Mhm.
in the kind of our regular third dimensional world, which is really interesting. So I'm glad it's getting more and more popular.
Well, I think that now it's getting more acceptable. Like they're even starting to recognize it in the medical profession and allowing it into some hospitals and things like that. So um, I did a talk with Hartwell this morning, and something that I wanted to bring, and maybe you can shed some light on this too, was we were talking about the variables in human design and how the environment affects the body. So if you are designed to be in an environment that where you're observing and you're not really active, and you do the opposite, then that's going to create disharmony within your body. So this
Mm,
is why a lot of the modalities and things that you do can help bring people back to that harmonious state, is
mm.
what I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so interesting. I never really thought about the correlation with human design, right? Like human design
Yeah.
is, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
interesting.
and and what we're receptive to, like for example, I know that metal works really well for me. So
Yeah.
like acupuncture and the forks and the gongs and things like that really help clear out that stagnant energy within my body. But somebody who is more air, say, would be more inclined to work with things like smoke and incense and things like that that represent that air or breath, you
Yeah.
know. So it's interesting how we can correlate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that being said, it's really interesting, like working with the elements, because you can work with the elements in Chinese medicine as well. And so
Hmm.
working with the elements, that's why I love the forks, right?
Hmm.
Because earth, earth is very grounding, right? The earth is
Mhm.
very cool. Or you have, water, somebody who's very watery, like me,
Yeah.
Neptune is a really nice fork.
Mhm.
Even Uranus as well, because Uranus is a water element. Yeah, so yeah, it's that's why I love the planetary forks because you can use them within the elements as well. Like they're
Mhm.
just unlimited. And my personal opinion, well, what I believe anyway, a personal belief for
Mhm.
me is that, the whole like the music of the spheres, all how all the planets kind of sing and together, right? The music of our whole planetary system. Um, that that harmonious, I don't know, quote unquote music is really going to be responsible for helping us into this ascension that we're going through right now.
Mhm.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah, so that's why I love, love, love using
Yeah.
planetary fields.
So, can you talk a little bit too about this new thing, the Moxa box and Dragon Moxa? Like a lot of people probably haven't even heard of it, but apparently it's quite old, is it?
Yes, so mugwort's been
Mhm.
around I don't know how many thousands of years, right?
Mhm.
So mugwort or moxibustion is what the modality is called, but we use mugwort, and it's used in so many different ways. You can use an actual little mugwort stick on an acupuncture point. You just hold it close to the body, of course. You can use a box. You can do dragon moxa, moxibustion, moxa for short.
Mhm.
Um, so mugwort in general is an energetic clearer. You'll find it in smudge kits, and
Mhm.
it's really neat. Like sometimes what I'll see with someone when I do a moxibustion treatment is I'll see their energetic body completely clear. So as far as transmuting and clearing energy that doesn't serve you, boy, mugwort is definitely the most powerful in my opinion.
Mhm.
Um, of course, mugwort has other uses. You can drink it as a tea as well. I've seen mugwort, elixir for the body, but I just use the mugwort as far as creating fire.
Mhm.
So mugwort burns at 600 degrees Fahrenheit. So it'll stimulate. So you have this little layer around your body, just next to the physical layer, which is the etheric layer, and that's our self healing. That's our far infrared. That's what an infrared sauna actually looks on, is your etheric layer of the body. I think many people don't really know that, but that's what an infrared sauna does. So it works on that infrared, our far infrared, that is our self healing. And so mugwort burning at 600 degrees Fahrenheit will stimulate that layer because it burns at infrared heat. So
Mhm.
it stimulates that self healing layer. It also stimulates yang, right? The body's energy, right? Our heat, our movement, right? Our motivation. And it also tonifies chi, which is our life force. So
Mhm.
yeah, there's a whole plethora of different ways to use mugwort, and
Mhm.
it's really profound and really amazing. It
Yeah,
increases, like on a physical level, it'll increase blood flow. Yeah, it's just incredible. Yeah,
yeah, I would recommend it to anybody because I just love it when you when you do that with me. Like it resonates with my body really, really well. I can actually feel like all of the things releasing in my body. Like I can feel the release and then the energy flow all the way down to my foot or down to my arm, whatever that may be, right? So
yeah,
I would definitely recommend that to people.
yeah.
So talking about the different layers and the different energetic bodies. So when you're actually looking at somebody, can you see their aura and can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the way I see energy is I see a color around the person. And the color is, their soul signature kind of combined with how they are in that moment. And now I could have two people the same color. So, for example, if I have two people that are blue, it looks the same. But when I remember, color, light, and sound are all the same thing. They're information. They're
Mhm.
basically a frequency that holds information. So I can kind of go into that color and I can get a little bit more information about what's going on.
Mhm.
And really what I'm looking at when I look at someone, so we have many layers. Some people say our number of layers are infinite, but the layers that are close to our body is we have that little etheric layer, then we have our physical blueprint, then we have our emotional, which is quite large, and then the mental layer. And those are the layers I typically dive into because those are what kind of drive our third dimensional body,
Mm-hmm.
right? Our third dimensional emotions, right? Those are what drive us. We have, our etheric layer and then the higher layers that connect us to our higher self and source, but they're really not, those are usually very balanced, right? I don't
Mm-hmm.
think I've ever seen anyone that didn't have a balanced upper layer because those are the layers that connect us to where we really are with source.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so when I look, sometimes it's interesting how I can see sometimes. Sometimes I'll see like a really turbid color on someone. This is common when I have someone coming in who's going through chemotherapy. I'll see a lot of turbidity, whether it's like a turbid yellow or brown or green, and I can feel toxins. Right? It's really like when you tap in, it all comes in as like a knowing, a feeling, kind of all the senses are
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I can smell it. But yeah, so or somebody who has real chronic depression, sometimes I'll see almost like this layer of gray fog around them, right? In the mental layer, usually it sits in the mental layer. I mean, there is no separation between emotional and physical, right? But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'll see them in the separate layers. Sometimes, if there has been like a trauma in their life, I'll see what looks like kind of like uh, sort of like a stagnated area, sort of like a jelly-like substance,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the same color as their color. It's really interesting. So I can tap in on that and see what's going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing, amazing. So, is there anything that you would recommend to people to keep their energy up and to keep their health and stuff after they leave having a treatment with you?
Ah, thoughts are things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And nobody is perfect. I mean, duality is part of our reality. It's part of physicality. We wouldn't have this experience without duality. So you know duality is just something that right now in our density, our third dimension, we're not going to get rid of. So I would
Mm-hmm.
say you know working on perspective with things, working on those thoughts. Let your thoughts, words, and emotions align with truth and light. And something I'm always working on myself is trying not to think into the future, right? Trying to be more present in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
because it literally creates your future. So
Mm-hmm.
worrying about something in the future is only going to there's that frequency match again. It's going to come in and show you more worry, right? So I think just being really cognizant of how you create your own reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like to think of life as this is my latest thing anyway. I like to think of it as like a lucid dream. All of a sudden,
Mm-hmm.
it literally is a lucid dream. Like we have control of
Mm-hmm.
everything that shows up. So, if this is a lucid dream, how do you want your lucid dream to look? Right? Because
Yeah.
when you have a lucid dream, if you've ever had one, you realize, oh my God, I can control everything, like just with a
Mm-hmm.
thought, right?
Yeah.
And so this is our reality. We just need to realize that that is the truth.
Yeah. Let's have that tall, dark, and handsome lucid dream. Just kidding.
Yeah, that's great, right?
Make it how you like it, right? So I know that's what our mentor Rin always says. Make it how you like it. However you want it to be, that's what you ask the universe for, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, there's all kinds of stuff in classes going on top of yours as well. And I just really want to encourage people to experience what you have, as well as open up to everything else that Clair-i-tea has here and all the practitioners, because there's so many wonderful people, and you're at the top of our list there. And come and experience some of these different events that are here for you. And that's, at the end of the day, this is what we want: is we want people to heal, get better, and embody who they truly are, their authentic self, and who express that into the world, right? So is there any final thoughts that you want to tell people before we wrap up, Kel?
Yes. So I have I've been teaching sound healing courses. I did a couple last year, and they were really amazing. And I have another one coming up on September 24th. So you can access my website for all the information. Of course, you can also go to Clair-i-tea and sign up as well. And yeah, it's amazing. So you don't have to be a practitioner to benefit from going through this sound healing course. As a practitioner, it will definitely enhance your practice, but because you can combine sound with every modality. But you can treat yourself, your family, and the profundity of tuning forks. In my opinion, tuning forks are my favorite. The course covers all aspects of sound therapy, but we really focus on tuning forks with the theories of Chinese medicine.
I just thought of something that we did not mention, and that is that you work with animals with these modalities, not just people. So the sentient beings who are the pets in our lives and things, Kelly also treats those with these therapies that she has. So if you have any animals that need treatment, she's a good one to reach out to. And I left all of her information on the announcement. It has her website and her Instagram, all of those things. Or if you didn't get it, reach out to me and I can hook you up. No worries there. So I just want to say thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge with us today, Kelly. And we wish you all the success and prosperity in the near future. And we look forward to the sound baths coming up in the next couple of weeks. So with that, we'll say to everybody goodbye. God bless. Join us next week when we'll have another guest at 10 a.m. Talking about all kinds of interesting things. And make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date with all of these people. There are angels and allies that we work with here at Clair-i-tea. So with that, we'll say goodbye. God bless.